Hello and welcome to my green stuff demonstration. This is green stuff. Of course, right now it's blue and yellow, but when you mix it, it turns green. It's a special clay that you can use on all sorts of miniatures. Today we're going to be making pumpkins. I had made up these guys. These are Necrons in Warhammer 40k. I sculpted these pumpkins and made this army, or this kill team, just all Halloween pumpkin themed. Here's one example. Here's the very first one that I did, with the little pumpkin at his feet. And so a lot of people have asked me how I made those pumpkins, and I'd like to show you. So right now, today, we're going to be working on the Overlord. He's got this little orb here, which is a resurrection orb. It's thematic in the game, but a lot of people say I should make it a pumpkin, and I decided to do so today. Of course, he's already stepping on a pumpkin, so I hope it's not overkill. So the first thing we do is, well, we need to have our space ready. I've got this wax parchment paper. You can see it's all kind of shiny. That is just canola cooking oil spray. That makes it so that the green stuff doesn't stick to it, because it's really sticky stuff. We've also got my cup of water here. It's a little close, but you're going to want to wet your fingers quite often, otherwise it'll stick to them really bad. So let's take a little bit of blue and a little bit of yellow, and you can see it might stick to my fingers a bit. Oh no, it didn't. Cool. I'm going to wet my fingers here, and we're just going to squeeze this around until it is quite green. It's still a little marbly, you can see, so it takes a couple just twists and turns of it to make it really get the two colors mixed together. They work as a bonding agent, and they eventually harden up together. The yellow side is a lot softer and the blue side is harder. So if you want softer stuff, yellow's the way to go. If you want a harder one that hardens more quickly, then maybe add some more blue. So this, we can see it's a little bit more yellow than blue. I wasn't being too careful with how I did it. You can use it for more than just the pumpkins. So here's this guy. I added a third arm to him. This is the Biophagus for the Gene Stealer cult. I added this third arm, but there's a little bit of a space where I added it. If you can see that, I'd like to just fill that in. I'm just going to use some of this. We're just doing this before we get onto the pumpkin here, just while I have this in my hands. So we can stick that in there. It's always a good idea to have an X-Acto knife to make sure that you get just the right amount that you're wanting in there. All I want is enough to fill it. All right, so I've just about filled that crevice there. It's looking better. I'll do a few more touch-ups a little later. Sorry, that keeps going out of camera. Now we'll work with, this is a little too soft to work with right now. I could wait for it to harden up, but I prepared some ahead of time that is a little bit harder. Sorry, I dropped it. So we've got this little bit. We just need to wet our fingers again and just roll it into a little ball. That's my technique for this. It's not too hard to roll it into a ball, but this has gotten a little harder than usual. All right. Once I've got it to a ball, Next thing I do is wet the X-Acto knife so it doesn't stick. And then I'm actually just going to use this side. I just roll along there and make a little crease. Just want that to be identifiable. There we go. Here's another one. Something you always need to be careful of when you're doing green stuff is to make sure that your fingerprints don't stand out too much on it. That is something that can happen very easily if you're still working with very soft green stuff. When I make a pumpkin, I try not to do it too symmetrical, then it doesn't look natural. Almost done. Sometimes you just gotta go over the lines again because my fingers just squish them a little bit. And then you just want to squish it up somewhat. Alright, that's looking halfway decent. Once you get it to the look that you're desiring, there we go. We can do a little tip in it. We'll use some of this newer green stuff that I made up. And we'll just make a little stem for it. I just like to roll it a little bit, have it like that kind of. You can see my fingerprints have left an indent. This is a lot softer. You just need to wet it and wipe those fingerprints away. And then right on that little tip that I made, just a guiding area, I can make that. Just squeeze it down a little bit. You can flatten it down more, make the tip. Whoops, there we go. And so it's got kind of a saggy little stem to it. So that's how I make a pumpkin. I'm just gonna make these lines a little more defined. I will add it on here a little later. All right, well, thanks for joining me. Bye.